Hi, Alyssa.
Hey, Katie.
Welcome to episode 320. Today we welcome a guest, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about her before she says hello. Stacie, but do tell me how to pronounce your last name. Stacie
Rihl.
Rihl. That would have been my best guess. Okay, so Stacie Rihl is here with us, and after gaining experience in both real estate and the mortgage industry, Stacie recognized a major gap in education and resources for first-time home buyers. She went on to become an online educator for new buyers, offering free virtual classes that have helped over 20,000 people learn the home buying process.
Yay!
So exciting. So hi, Stacie, welcome.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited and I'm such a fan of the show.
Okay, well, we're so excited to have you here. Will you tell us a little bit about yourself beyond that and where you are and what you do?
Yeah, so I am based in Boston right now, and I have an online business where I help first-time homebuyers and then I match them with agents all over the country. So that's me.
Okay, we have a plethora of questions about this, but let's start with your background. You had your real estate you have your real estate license currently?
I currently do. Yep.
Okay. Do you sell in Boston?
I do not sell in Boston. So when we moved to Boston from Philly 3 years ago, and I got my license here in Massachusetts with the intention to sell, but then my referral business kind of took off. So no, I've never sold anything in Massachusetts.
And you have to keep your license to receive the referrals.
Correct. Yep. Yeah.
So that's really the reason for this.
Okay. And did you sell when you were in Philadelphia?
Yeah. So I sold for 5 years and kind of built my business on social media before it was a thing. And then COVID came and had to so I was teaching in person first time homebuyer classes in Philly. COVID came and I was like, oh, we'll do one class on Zoom. And then, one class turned into 10 classes. And then I started getting people from all over the country. And they kind of started expanding from there. And then at the same time, during lockdown, we were not able to show houses. And I realized that I really like staying at home in my yoga pants with my dog. So I transitioned to the mortgage industry because I was like, oh, I can work remotely. I have a little bit more flexibility on my location. And so went into the mortgage industry, and my mortgage broker at the time didn't let us have both of our real estate license and our mortgage license because they thought it was a conflict of interest. So I had to refer out all of my buyers. And that's kind of where the referrals started. And eventually I was like, I could just refer these out and get the referral fee because I couldn't get both.
Yes.
Instead of doing the loan. And mortgages, it's really, really stressful. It's a lot. And so, I've always really been interested in social media marketing and online marketing. So this is kind of what works for my interests.
I've heard getting your mortgage license is much harder than getting your real estate license. How long did that take?
It's a lot harder. I think it took only about 2 months, but the studying was a lot more intense. Yeah.
Community members, don't forget to add yourself to the referral list.
We are seeing so many referrals happening in the group and don't want y'all to miss out on this community benefit.
We have 49 states plus Canada covered.
Need someone in Hawaii.
Check your monthly newsletter for the referral list link.
If you aren't in community, we'd love to have you, especially if you're in Hawaii.
Join us at hustlehumblypodcast.com/membership. Do you feel like, obviously, you're now uniquely qualified to talk to buyers through that vein of, well, I also know a lot about the mortgage piece of it, not just kind of maybe the surface level most agents know. So you're able to really, with knowledge, answer the questions from the real estate agent perspective, but also from the mortgage broker perspective?
Yeah, exactly. So when I was in mortgages, so I did that for about a year and helping my same clients, so first time home buyers. And I've always had the belief that like I want to talk to people before they're ready. So like come to me, ask me how much you can afford, ask me how much you need to put down. So I just really got every single question in the book in terms of financing.
Mhm.
Um, and also learned like, oh, you can't have a new job when you have FHA. And like I just like learned all the intricacies and like really kind of like cut my teeth and had to like learn everything that you're right. Like I would not have learned all of the little nuances if I wasn't in it for a year.
I have a question about your first time homebuyer classes. We have our Hustle Humbly community, and I sometimes we get an agent in there that's like, I'm thinking about hosting a first time homebuyer class, and I've seen agents in my own market try to host them, and maybe they spend money on like food and drink, and then maybe like 3 people show up. What do you think set yours apart that made it so successful?
Yeah, so my first class was a total flop. Like it was so bad. It was yeah. And I'm really glad that I didn't give up after that.
Yeah.
But A, like you have to have a marketing plan. Like the marketing is most of it. And then B, you have to have a way to get the people who come to turn them into a client. Like you have to have those systems. It's a whole funnel. So I think number one, I have social media. So that was kind of like the missing link because I had started growing an audience in my city. But I was like, how do I turn the people on Instagram into people who are going to buy a house with me? And the workshop was kind of that missing link. So you have to have like a way to get people there. I mean, I've heard of people doing Facebook ads. You have to have a marketing plan,
Mhm.
or
Well,
people won't come.
I think one thing you said that's really important is like you didn't give up. I think so many agents are like, I did 2 open houses and it didn't work. So I stopped. I hosted one class and nobody came. I did this. It's like, y'all, it takes multiple tries and consistency and finding your system of what does work before it actually works. And like, look what it did for you. It changed your whole life.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
have
it
a
did.
question about the follow-up. So like they came, what are those pieces of the follow-up that made it successful?
Yeah. So when I was an agent and a lender, the next piece was like, and your next step is to meet with me. Like, let's get coffee or like, let's hop on a call. So that was like part of what I taught in the process. Like, this is the home buying process. Your first step is to meet with me. So kind of like getting them out of there. And then, yeah, I just like show them, like, I make myself a part of their home buying process. And I had like so many email campaigns and like I would text them to follow up. I of course got everyone's like phone number, and email, and I just stayed in touch.
Hmm. Why do you think your first class was a flop?
Like I had nothing planned. Like I didn't even have like any talking points planned. I just showed up. B, I had at the time Eventbrite was a really big thing and they were pushing out events. So I had like 100 people show up and bought like, or no, I had 100 people signed up. And we bought like 15 pizzas and then like 10 people came. So like
Oh,
learning like the ratio of like, okay, who's gonna come versus how many people are going to show up, how many people are going to sign up versus come. And yeah, I didn't have a way to be like, okay, I'm going to show them how like I'm professional and that like they want to work with me and then take the next step. So like I remember someone reached out to me that I was like kind of friends with, but not super close. And she was like, oh my gosh, I bought a house and it's all because I came to your class. And I was like,
oh, great. Thanks.
thanks. I'm so glad. Like I'm glad. Of course, I'm glad that it was helpful, and then it worked out for her. But I was like, okay, now we need to think of like how can I like let them know that I want to help them and like be like an authority and like a professional because I just kind of showed up and was like, so want to buy a house, and then like I had the lender present and like I had like my different people. I had a home inspector there and like they were doing most of the presenting but I kind of became the like, okay, I'm the person that's going to help you. And I started talking to people more like one on one and getting to know people there as well.
I think that's awesome too, because so many agents, when they hear something like that or face rejection, they just shut down and they're like, it didn't work. But it's like good for you to be like, Wow. Yeah. I didn't explain that well. I need to make sure that I have a system in place. Like so many agents get aggravated with their clients for asking too many questions or texting them all night. And it's like, well, why are they doing that? Is it because they didn't have the information they needed from you? Like maybe instead of being like, oh, they're so annoying, saying, what can I do to let them know the information so that it goes how it's supposed to go?
Okay, I have a question, Stacie, about kind of the beginnings of the social media content, and then you're doing these classes, and then all of a sudden people are signing up for like the online class from other states. Like, were you surprised by how many people were from other places, and then start to realize, well, wait, I can't even work with these people as my, like buyer in the place I'm working. Like, how did you like connect all those dots and realize, well, wait a minute, what am I doing with all these people at this class that aren't even in my market?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, at first I was kind of like, oh, like, really? Like, I didn't really appreciate it. That
Again,
like,
not
I'm always
helpful.
happy to help, but like, yeah, I was like, that's not really what I wanted, but sure, okay. Um, yeah, at the very beginning, I just was kind of like, yeah, sure, like, come, why not? Like, it's about Philadelphia, but you could always hop in. And then I think at that time I was also starting to refer out in my market to agents. And so I was like, well, I don't have someone for you, but I could find them for you. And I just kind of like started pivoting my marketing that way very slowly.
It's almost like you were in the referral mindset because you couldn't work with your buyers that were local. So you're like, well, I'll just refer them to a local agent. And they're like, well, if I can refer them to a local agent, I can refer them to an agent in a whole nother state. It's the same process.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, this is very fascinating. Okay, I want you now to walk us through what it looks like today. So, what do you do today? How do you make money?
Yeah, and I will say on the note of like being open to change and just like working things, I'm literally like I was just now working through a system. Like this is always changing. I'm always like looking at little pieces of the process to make it better. But yeah, now I am 100% referral based. I teach like 1 to 2 classes online a month, and then people from all over the country come, and then I refer out. Yeah, every single month, and that's what I do full time.
That's what you do full time. Okay. How do you choose your referral partners? So you get, these first time buyers from all over the country, and you're like, okay, great. The next part of the process is I refer you to an approved agent. How do you find the approved agent?
Yeah, so I have what I call a FAME agent, which is first time homebuyer friendly, available, market knowledgeable locally, and experienced. So the first piece of that, like I promise my clients that they will be connected with an agent who is experienced. And that's not because I think new agents aren't good at all. It's just because that's a piece of what I offer. I know that new agents are sometimes so amazing. So I like kind of go, if I don't already have a referral partner there, I will go through like, okay, who's helping the most amount of buyers? I generally will look for someone doing like 12 to 24 transactions a year so that they're not too busy. Someone with like a lot of like really solid testimonials from first time home buyers. And then I start just like kind of calling and interviewing to see who's going to be the best fit. And I also look for like specific areas. So like right now I have someone in Virginia and like a kind of a small town, where my other referral partners, they've never sold anything there before. So like I need someone who has experience in that specific area. So really it goes by area, experience, and then the interview. Yeah.
You know how agents, we get those calls all the time of like, I have a lead in your area. Do agents ever think you're like a spammy person and just hang up on you?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I like kind of know what to say. But yeah, sometimes people will hang up on me and I'll be like, I mean, I am real, but
Yeah.
They're like, not interested.
They're like, leave me alone,
Yeah.
you robot.
Yeah. Or sometimes like they don't pick up right away and then they'll be like, oh, like I got your voicemail and like I looked you up and you're a real person.
That's a good point.
Do you keep a database of these agents? Do you have like a list? So there are like, you already know who your approved person is in a certain place, or if you see it, you're like, okay, I don't have one there. Like, we obviously have an audience of realtors listening. Can they apply to be on your list? Like, what is what is your system for that?
Yeah, for sure. So I have a database of like agents that I've referred to. But I always tell everyone, shoot me an email and tell me the areas that you cover and like your sales history, whether that's like your Zillow or Homes.com page or whatever is updated, and your testimonials. And then if I have someone looking in an area where I don't already have a referral partner, or the referral partner that I have isn't a good fit, then I'll go through my emails and be like, oh, maybe, someone reached out to me, and then I'll call them for an interview.
So at this point, do you have all 50 states covered? Like, how is your database looking?
Yeah, I have all 50 states except for South Dakota. That's the only one.
Random.
Yeah,
Okay.
but again, like it depends on the specific buyer and their needs. And even sometimes, maybe I'll have someone looking at a $200,000 price point, but the agent I have is mostly selling like higher end homes, so they're not the best fit. So yeah, I'm constantly looking for people, and then sometimes like agents get too busy and they don't want to take on first time home buyers anymore. So it's constantly evolving.
You're just really referring first-time buyers, though, because those are the people that are coming to your class is first-time buyer, not buyer, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. So it's unusual for you to have someone in a different price point, or like if all the agents on your list typically are working with first-time buyers, since that's really all you're referring.
Exactly. Sometimes though, I've been doing this for 3 years now, and maybe I'll have an agent who started a team and now she's only taking on the sellers and referring out her buyers. So it definitely does transition.
Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, okay. Very interesting. Now let's talk about the buyers. Did you find that you just have a passion for buyers once you got into this? Obviously, first-time buyers are different than move-up buyers or downsizers. Like, what kind of made you stick with this and want to keep trying to teach people how to become home buyers?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely have like the heart of a teacher. I love teaching and like showing people what to do. Yeah, it's also just like kind of what stuck. I mean, I was 22 when I got into the business, so that was kind of the people closest to my age. So yeah, it's just what made sense and what kind of took off. And I think it's so rewarding and it's so exciting. And yeah, I just think it's really fun. I always thought about like, oh, I should think about like doing sellers too, and I should, but that's actually not like, I don't have a lot of experience helping people actually like sell homes because I got out of the business so quickly. So it's just like what I know so well, and I think it's where like the biggest knowledge gap is. Like people truly do not teach us how to buy a house. So
how did you go about making your course friendly enough to cover nationwide when markets are different and processes are different?
Yeah, so I always tell them like your agent is going to cover this with you again. I know like some parts of, especially like the inspection period, is going to be a little bit different. But in general, the process is the same. Like you submit an offer, your offer gets accepted. Sometimes that goes into attorney review, sometimes it doesn't, and then you get your home inspection. Like the general process is the same.
Where do you feel like buyers had the most questions about or the most confusion about? Like what part of your course was the most educational for them?
Yeah, I mean, most people are just like, where do I start? Like, what do I do first is the first question. And do I have enough money? Are really like the biggest questions that they need answered.
Is that what your step one is in the process, is like learning your finances?
Yeah, so I teach people. So number one, learn the process. So come to the class and then get connected with an agent, and then their agent will help them to find a local lender. But throughout that, like I have so many guides and like giveaways to help them learn the financial piece. And we go through like once we get to the part to where they're talking about a lender, I'm like, okay, this is how much they're gonna want to see for a down payment. These you have closing costs, so they know what to expect.
Yeah. We love in your content Alyssa's a big numbers girl. She's a big fan of doing the budgeting meeting with her clients. She likes to go to their lender appointments. So like your content is spot on for not like kind of dancing around the financial part, but more like, here are the examples. This person's making this much money. They're buying this year. These are the interest rates. This is like their monthly note. This is if they waited and saved up a 10% down payment. I just love that it's so great, like so number specific. It's not just like, well, you could do this and it might be like that. It's like, no, if you're this person and you paid this much, it's going to be like this. How do you get those numbers? Like, where do you get your stats and your figures? And like, obviously you were in mortgages, so you can do the math, but like, do you find that resonates with the people that are seeing your content?
Yeah. I mean, we know that the average first-time homebuyer puts down like 7 to 9%. That's what NAR has said. So I generally try to use that. And then the average home price is, I think, $435 right now. So I try to keep that in mind. Obviously, it's different everywhere. So, and I think the average salary right now is, I think, $79,000. So I try to like keep those numbers in mind when I'm creating. But yeah, I also like, my goal is to help people see like, oh, wait, I'm that person. I could do it. And also just like numbers, I feel like do really well on Instagram. They're just like really eye catching.
It's such a specific example. It's just better than giving kind of the high level idea. It's like, here's the actual situational of this person. I love that. And I think probably too, because a lot of times you share what you did or like how we paid for the, like, or what our numbers were. And I do think that keeps it a little bit more accessible to people like, oh, I understand. Or like, if you make this much money, this is what's going to happen. I find it to be very helpful. I'm guessing that most people are finding you through that social media content. Is that right?
Yeah.
What do you feel like they're most surprised by taking your class? Like, is there a common misconception? Like, oh, I thought I had to have 20% down payment, or I had no idea that this is how working with an agent worked. Like, what do you find are their biggest surprise moments?
That's a good question. I should ask that. I think, most people are just overwhelmed and don't actually know like their first step. So I think, like, okay, just start with an agent and they'll help you find a lender. I guess that could be the most surprising. Yeah. And also people will come to me and they'll be like, wow, like we have the money. Like we can do it. Yeah.
We're approved.
I remember when I was the first time buyer, and I feel like that was kind of my like, well, let's figure out what the math is. And like, this is what the rent is now. And this is what I'm like, well, because you think, especially when you're a young first-time buyer, you're like, well, this is a very far-reaching goal for someone, right? Like, I got to have all this money saved up. And then you start doing the actual research, and it's like, well, we can do this. Like, this is very attainable. So I think that's nice that you're kind of like bridging that gap for them. Be like, it's not as hard as you may think it. You just made up in your mind numbers.
Yeah.
What about quality control? How do you make sure once the buyer is sent to another agent that agent does a decent job? Like if you get bad reviews or, something like that, how do you handle that?
Yeah, I need to work on my systems. This is something I'm working on because I don't really have a follow-up with the client right now, but I follow up with the agents once a month.
Yeah.
So I at least like know what's going on. And if I do have someone come back to me and they're like, hey, this wasn't a good fit, then I just find someone else to refer them to.
Do you tell them up front that you can do that? Like, hey, I'm giving you this person, but if for some reason it doesn't jive or y'all aren't like a good personality fit, come back and I have plenty. I'll get you someone else.
I don't, but I should.
That way, maybe they don't feel uncomfortable reaching out if it didn't work.
Yeah.
Like they know, well, she said if it's not a good fit, I could just call her back.
Yeah.
So that might be,
Because a lot of times we'll get pushed back when we're just saying, vendor referrals or any kind of referrals. People get freaked out like, well, I don't want to give a referral because if it doesn't work out, then they're going to be mad at me. And I'm like, your entire business model is I'm going to refer you out. So you're taking that leap of faith over and over again. You don't know. Sometimes it doesn't go well. So I think that it's interesting, giving them that permission to come back is nice and an option, I guess. It sounds like they do come back. They're like, hey, you're the expert. This didn't work out. Who do I talk to now?
Yeah. Do you want referral business but hate the idea of being salesy to people you know?
This fall, starting in September, we are taking you by the hand and working together to use your database to build your business.
Going through the Build Your Own Business 101 course together will give you the step-by-step process that guarantees you'll stay top of mind with your database and be the place they go for repeat and referral business.
Grab the course now at hustlehumblypodcast.com/BYOB, and we will see you September 2nd for our first live class.
We can't wait to work through this course together in the fall.
Do you ever have, and you don't have people come back and complain though and say, you sent me to this person and it wasn't a good situation?
No, I don't.
That's good. For the people who are afraid to refer, I think that's good that no one's coming and knocking on our door. Are you like keeping track, I guess, of a running total of, okay, these are the buyers I sent out. This is who obviously you'd have to, these who I sent them to so that you know who to check in with every month.
Mm-hmm.
Are you seeing like timeframes drastically be different from state to state on how long it takes people to actually buy that we're ready to buy?
Ooh, good question. I don't know like state to state, but I mean, there are some agents who I'm like, oh, okay, that was like 5 days. All right. And the other people, it's like kind of a longer term. I think it depends on the client too, but
and probably whatever the market. Do they have good inventory there?
Right.
Are there a plethora of options to choose from? Or does, like in our market right now, if it's a cute, lower priced home for a first time home buyer, those are the only ones that are flying off the shelf. Like everything else is sort of sitting, but it's the affordable stuff that is hard. And that makes it even harder for the first time home buyers to even get in. So I think that makes sense too. And then that's also you tracking your income. Like these are your paychecks. So you kind of need to know how everyone's doing and what the time frame could be for that referral to come in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How many do you think you're sending out monthly?
Right now, probably about 40 to 50 a month. My goal is 80. I'm not hitting that, but 40 to 50
is a ton.
That is a lot of referrals.
That is wild to me. How many people are you? So you're saying you're doing about 2 classes a month. About how many people are taking the class?
About anywhere between 50 to 100 people are actually showing up.
And then you're sending out 40 to 50. That's a pretty good turn.
She's teaching it twice a month.
All right. So like
1 to 2 times a week. And I have an email list at this point of, people who came to the class or didn't come. So that definitely
maybe they took the class and weren't quite ready, but because you kept in touch with your follow-up system when they were ready, they knew to call you.
Wow, a lot like real estate, yes?
Just like real estate.
What a shocker.
Yeah.
If you follow up, they will hang around. Okay. Wow. 40 to 50? That is amazing to me. Okay, let's talk about something different. Not totally different. Obviously, you're making a lot of content that is sometimes, getting many, many views. This is how the people are finding you to come take the online class. Do you also find that you have a lot of agents following you? I mean, that's how I found you because your content was being served to me as an agent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just opened up. I don't normally go through my followers, but I was like, am I having more agents follow me lately? And I think 1 out of 20 followers was an agent. So
that's interesting. Okay, so Alyssa's question was, we didn't notice anywhere where you say on your social media, hey,
do you need an agent? Let me know.
I can refer you. Like it's almost like, just come to the class. I need you to come to the class and then we'll talk about the agent. Is that obviously intentional, but can you talk to that a little bit?
Yeah. So I have always been of the belief on social media that having one thing that you want people to do, one link to click, is what has worked the best for me. So I never want people to be confused on what I want them to do. And I just haven't had success with sharing about the offer to use my referral services directly on Instagram. It just hasn't worked so far.
Do you think it's because they don't understand the process anyway?
I think so. And I think just for the same reasons why when I was an agent, I would want to get coffee with them first thing is I think just building that rapport and that trust. I mean, referring someone out, it's very high trust. So people need to come and see me and understand the process and the importance too, because I talk a lot about the importance of having a good agent in the class. So they just don't really understand the process and what it looks like and why it's important and why it's unique. And it's just harder, but something that I'm working on.
I also think if you were like every other post being like, first time homebuyer class, agents, if you want referrals, message me. I think you would become so agent heavy that it would likely take away from what you have built here. And as a first time homebuyer, I might even feel like, oh, she's not just helping first time homebuyers. She's, part of her business is that, which is fine, but just making them take the class first so that they understand that they don't need to feel a certain way about you sending them a referral. It's actually a really good thing. So I think that makes sense. Like just take the class. And if you take the class, then we will get into the referral part.
Are the classes always live taught? And then there's Q&A. How long are these classes?
Yeah, so they're about an hour. Sometimes it goes over an hour with the Q&A. But it's about 45 minutes. We go over the process and then we have the Q&A. Yeah.
Is it just you teaching now? I know you said your first in-person, it was then the inspector and the, other vendors. It's just you talking now.
Yeah. So now it's just me. When I was in person, I had my inspector and my lender there. And then when I was a loan officer, I would have an agent there. And then that agent would get everyone who came that wanted to work with an agent. They would go to that agent. And at first I thought, I was like, I can't teach classes by myself. That's so weird. But I started doing it and it's been good. Yeah.
And you live teach it every time?
Yeah, it's live. Sometimes there's a replay, sometimes not. But it's live.
What about when everything happened last year with, the NAR rules and now some places maybe that weren't doing a buyer brokerage agreement, now they are. Did you change how you were teaching first time buyers or were you already teaching what it was to sign an agreement with a buyer's agent?
Yeah, so I cover because that was in the media so much, now buyers will ask oh, how much does it cost? Do I have to pay my agent? So I do cover at the end, hey, your agent's going to get paid after you buy a house and they'll either be paid by the seller or by you, but you'll know exactly what that will look like up front. That's what I cover in my class. And then I let the details of the buyer broker, I leave that up to the agent because everyone's so different and I don't want to speak to something that another agent doesn't work that way.
From state to state, it's been implemented very differently, which is why I thought it would be interesting to ask you, since you're talking to buyers from so many different states, you almost couldn't give a blanket, this is what's going on typically in the market. Because I think we're hearing it's very different from place to place.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think I've had one client that I know of that was responsible for paying their agent. So I do when they ask, I'm look, 99% of the time the seller is going to pay, but this is what it would look like if not, so that you're well aware of that. But I also do tell them your market might be different. Every agent also works differently. So
your class is free. Have you ever thought about charging anything for it? $5, anything?
No, because I just want people to come. And even if they don't come, then they're still on my email list. I have heard of people, charging a $5 donation just to increase attendance. But no, I want them to come.
Okay, well, let's talk about your email list a little bit. What is that follow-up like? Are they just getting alerts that there's a new class, but they've already taken the class in some cases? So what are your emails with them going forward?
Yeah. So after they take the class, there's a week-long campaign of emails, follow-up from the class. And then after that, twice a week, they're just getting what's closing costs? What's a down payment? Just just kind of like what my content is on Instagram, just little tips and different resources that I have with like a little reminder at the bottom that they can connect with an agent.
Mhm.
I think that's so great.
Yeah. Are you doing paid ads and stuff on social media?
No, I
Just
tried
all
ads.
organic.
Not my forte. I would love to be someone that's good at ads, but it's so hard.
They're
Mhm.
really hard to figure out.
We're experiencing that as well.
Oh.
Because we're organic growth ladies. Like we're just whatever we put
amazing.
out there, the people tell each other, and it sounds like same for you. Like
Yeah.
whatever sticks. But figuring out ads is a whole different ball of wax. And I
Mhm.
think that agents probably feel that too. They're like, I don't even know how to pay for the right kind of marketing to get what I need. But if you were having an in-person first-time buyer class, I guess you could run like a Facebook ad or something to an area, right? It's a little bit easier when you're talking to the whole United States. It's like, how do I even, what would I do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How would I even run this ad?
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah. It really
run
is
to
like,
people who don't know.
yeah, it's a whole nother like skill set. And I played around with it for a little while and I was like, I'm going to go post a reel.
Yeah.
Okay, tell me this. With the market as it has for us here slowed a lot, are you seeing class attendance to go down? Like, or when interest rates started to shift, did you see less people wanting to learn about buying, or is it more like they need help? Like, what's kind of the vibe there?
Yeah. Yeah. I think this year I'm seeing, less people actually come to my class. I'm still seeing about the same number of signups, which is really interesting. So maybe people who, they're just interested, but they're not quite ready. Um, yeah. So, but there's still anytime where I'm like, "Ugh, are people going to buy a house?" Then I look at, I don't know, like over 1 million people bought a house last year. So people are still buying houses.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely like a little bit of a shift this year compared to
Well,
last year.
especially the first-time home buyers are the most affected. They're the ones that are getting on their feet financially, very budget conscious, figuring out life, figuring out family, and between the prices, the interest rates, and the insurance, they are the ones that are the most affected because it's actually a market right now where you can't say it's cheaper to buy than to rent because sometimes it's not. Sometimes renting is actually cheaper. Now it's not equity in your pocket, of course, but if you're really focused on that monthly note, they might be waiting until next year when things settle down a little bit. If the rate comes down so I imagine your attendance could also be pretty tied to the economy, to the market, to the rate. And as it becomes more stable, first-time home buyers will feel more comfortable really diving in.
Yeah. Yeah. I try to not get too caught up in that, just like mindset wise.
Yeah, for sure.
Because, like I feel like some of the worst markets were like my best months. And it's like I can only control my actions. So,
Well, I feel a little bit like you're doing this kind of grand service to save home ownership, if you will. Like, I'm going to try and tell you everything you need to know and maybe help you not be afraid and not, let this interest rate affect what your mindset is to you can still buy, here's how, or like I think that is I want to say, I think that's a really important service. So what you're doing is a really important segment of the population that needs help. And I don't want home ownership to go away. So I think that it's very important work that you're doing. And I'm glad that you're doing it and that people are seeing it.
Thank you.
I mean, it's true. I'm concerned. I'm truly concerned about first-time home buyers. And I think at least educating them is like that first step. Okay, well, maybe it's not as bad as you think. You're hearing this terrible news, but we can still make it work for you.
Yeah. When you teach your class, is it Zoom where you can see their faces?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is the format?
Yeah, I use Webinar Geek, which is kind of like Zoom. But yeah, it's like a presentation in my face.
Okay. So you see how many people have logged in, but you don't see their faces.
Right. And we have a chat. We have
They don't talk.
Going. Yeah.
They type.
Right. Okay. Exactly. Yeah.
They're typing in the chat. Do you have to have someone to help you with that?
No, I've had my husband hop on a couple times with me. But no, right now it's just me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And he's in your content sometimes as well.
He is
I
the
love it.
best.
Is he in any type of real estate?
No, he's a resident. Like, no.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's like in med school. I think that's so great though.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Will you move again? Like you're just in a temporary space.
Yeah. So we will maybe move in 2 years, which is another reason why I was like, let me just, do this virtually so that if we need to pick up and move, I don't need to restart my business again.
Yeah, you can do this from anywhere.
for
Mhm.
real.
That's awesome.
It's really, really, I have just always been fascinated and impressed. And like after I found you, I was like, look what Stacie is doing. This is
Yeah.
like the coolest thing. It's the coolest way to use your real estate license and help people and still like because finding an agent is such an important part of the process, or just understanding the process.
Yeah.
When you think about how many agents aren't even good enough to explain the process, you're really doing a service.
I almost wondered, but it would actually take a good agent to want their client to take a first-time home buyer class. But like, how many, if your business grew to so many agents, how many of them would be like, your course is amazing. Can I tell my buyers to go take it? But it wouldn't be a referral situation. It would just be utilizing a free resource.
Yeah. I mean, I have people like, hey, can I send my clients to your class? And I'm like, I mean, yeah, like I don't have a way to track who's
Yeah.
client.
Well,
So
and it's
you're
like-
welcome to.
Whether 40 or 41 people log into the webinar, it doesn't matter to you.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's interesting. I
Yeah.
love it.
I love it too. Is there anything else important you feel like you want to share with agents or buyers?
Ooh, that's a great question. I think
Yeah,
for
you're used-
both. Yeah, just like we talked, like just keep going. Yeah, like
Mhm.
don't ever let like maybe a first failure
Mhm.
hold you back. Yeah.
Mhm. Perfect.
I love it. Okay. Did you bring us a toast, Stacie?
I brought a toast. It's kind of weird, but
Can't
I wanted to toast to whoever created the internet and social media, because sometimes I think about what my life would be like if I was born 30 years earlier, and
Yeah.
I just don't know what I'd be doing. So
What would you be doing right now? No
I have no
online
idea.
business.
No online business.
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
Okay. Cheers to the internet, the internet
Cheers
creators.
to the internet.
Thank you so much for making the internet. I love it. Okay, well, tell everyone where they can find you, where they can find your content and learn more.
Yeah.
I think it's worth a follow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can follow me at I am Stacie Rihl, or you can check out my website, but Instagram is really where it's at.
Okay, and we'll have it in the show notes so they can go there and find it. Are you going to let us? You don't have to do it on air, but we can put it on the show notes. Will you let us share your email if they want to get on your?
Yeah, of course. Oh yeah, so it's hello@stacierihl.com. Yeah, shoot me an email with the areas you cover and your sales history and testimonials. Yeah.
You may want to get ready for this.
You'll live to regret that, Stacie.
Oh, no.
Just set a reminder when this episode airs on September 22nd that you'll just need to be on top. Have a tidy inbox before September 22nd.
Okay.
That's right.
Mhm.
Because I will be on vacation that month, so there's going to be a lot of autoresponders going out.
Emails.
So you'll have plenty of new friends when you get back from vacation.
Okay, cool.
Thank you so much for being here. We have absolutely loved it. Everyone's going to find this to be so fascinating like we did. And thank you for taking care of our first-time buyers, because they're a very important part of, the American dream.
Absolutely.
Right?
This was great.
Mhm.
So great.
Okay.
Thanks so much for having me.
Guys.
Bye.
Wait, before you go, if you enjoyed this episode and if we brought you value, take a minute to rate the show, leave a review, or drop a comment.
We are giving away our best stuff for free. Find it at hustlehumblypodcast.com/freebies.
We'd also love to see you in Hustle Humbly community. Join us there at hustlehumblypodcast.com/membership.
We love chatting with you in our DMs. Find us on social media at Hustle Humbly Podcast and say hello.
If you have an episode topic or someone you'd like to toast on the show, please email us at team@hustlehumblypodcast.com.
Thank you so much for tuning in to the Hustle Humbly Podcast. See you next week.